Hey there, you sexy people. I hope you're having a great day. Just wanted to come on here, let you know I had to fire Bark. I had to do it. He was too cute. He was being way too cute, and I was like, it's taken away from the little bit of cuteness that I have, and this is upsetting. I'm just fucking around, obviously. No, I just wanted to come on here and disclaim a couple things before I play the next episode. To summarize, when I was recording this podcast, I was recording it to an external hard drive that accidentally became detached when we were recording, and I didn't realize that. So the file was corrupt. However, I was able to recover about an hour of the podcast. So there's still quite a bit there, but in the recovery process, there were some weird audio sync issues and just some weird audio artifacts. So there are a couple little bit more jarring cuts, but it was still a pretty fun episode. We actually recorded this, I think, at the end of November, so it's been a while since we recorded it, but I just wanted to come on and tell you the audio's not as good, the video's out of sync sometimes, but we're gonna release it anyway because why not? So hopefully you still enjoyed this episode. I'm gonna let it roll. Welcome to the 21st episode of Obscure Hotline. I'm Bronson from Audio Hotline, and this is
Bark from Obscure Mics.
Dude, every time, like, saying Obscure Hotline and then, like, having to say your own right after, it's difficult. It's real hard. It's real hard, but
it's real hard, don't you know?
Yep. I'm real hard. We'll just kick it off like that. So, yeah, we're recording on a Friday night. This is weird for us a little bit. It's a little weird for us, but
when did we record the last one?
Thursday? Was it a Thursday night? Which is kind of like classic us.
Might have been
a little bit, but
yeah, this is not classic us though. This is two recordings in the span of
a week.
What? Was it over
less
a week,
than
like 8 days?
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Yeah, no, I like it. I definitely like it. I think we're all uploaded on everything. I was just gonna press publish on the next. They're the last one. So, but yeah, dude, no, it's fun. I don't know. I like Friday recordings. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that should be our target date is a Friday recording. Hey, by the way, do you ever do you ever talk to Aiden from Dark Corner?
Not like personally, no.
Okay. I just wonder, like he's setting up a like a live stream thing, and the initial plan was him and me and Buck and Bandrew, and Buck basically says his schedule's too crazy. So I was going to suggest, like, hey, let's, what about Braun? What about LeBron James?
Yeah, dude, Bronny. Technically, it works. Like, I'm LeBron's son, man.
Yeah,
but
it would make it, it would make it a little more flavorful, in my opinion. So
I don't know. I'm gonna maybe this is like weird to say on this, but I kind of just get the feeling that he's like not my fan. Like, he doesn't really like me much. Which is like,
I felt like that too. Because I feel like the audio space. This is a good segue. I feel like the audio reviewer YouTube guy space is like, if you don't make an effort with some people, like, and that's where Twitter X
gonna give it to you.
X gonna give take us a game, Aiden. But ever since I started interacting with him, like, there was no YouTube interaction really between him and me. Like, I'd comment on his videos sometimes, and it was just real, there wasn't much to it. But like, then I followed him. It actually took me 2 follows. I followed him on X, and he didn't follow back, but I kind of started commenting because I do crave that creator to creator connection, and somewhere along the way, using X, he followed me back, and now we talk, sometimes, and I think it's more of a disconnect. I feel like some people you can't get through to on YouTube,
Yeah.
And some people, like, there's this Dan feller that runs Grounded Tech, and by all intents and purposes, me and him are completely different. I'm pretty sure he's fairly conservative. His thoughts and stuff are different than mine, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. But on X,
Yeah.
we get along. We chat and we talk,
Yeah.
and I feel like there's a good creator connection through all that. So I hate to, I had to teach myself to be like, nah, they don't want nothing to do with me. Which, I don't think that's true. I really don't. I think there's just different avenues of communication, and some people are good with avenue A as opposed to B, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, but which brings me to, thank you, one, for I feel like I would have never been really viewed by or had an open line of communication with Mark Bennett if not for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's subscribed to the channel now, and like he watches sometimes and
Mhm.
what a nice guy.
So he's
Like,
great.
what a
He's great.
nice guy.
Yep.
And that avenue, I probably wouldn't have crossed that if it weren't for you. So I feel like sometimes you just got to open certain streets,
That's true.
and it,
Yeah.
I Aiden's he's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, no, and I get the feeling of that. And like anytime I've ever interacted with him, like he's always been very nice. I don't know. Like I guess that like when I've gone out of my way to like be extra nice, and this is like the thing. Like I'm not even really talking specifically about him anymore, but like I think it's really interesting how any audio people or anyone that's in like the same niche as another person feels that like competitive edge towards each other, because like
Yeah.
I don't know, it took me a long time, like, because my logic behind this comes from like being in bands and stuff, and like bands that are playing with other bands, you kind of like hope that they suck that night. Like you want to be the better band. And it's fucked up and it's stupid, and you should be like supportive, and you should be like, hey, like, and like, and not so phony, and you should be like, like when you actually say like, I hope you guys have a great show, you should actually fucking mean it, instead of being like a dick. And so like I kind of like learned that, through older bands when we came in, like they would, kind of do that to us and be assholes and stuff. So I feel that though. I feel that in YouTube, and I feel that especially in like the audio niche with certain people. I'm not even saying Aiden or anything. I'm just saying like generally speaking, I definitely like notice that. I'd say less with him than some, but like I don't know, dude. Like I don't feel like it shouldn't be this competition, when in all reality it should just be like, hey, like we like the same shit. Like you and I, like we found a friendship because we like similar shit. And guess what? Like if we met in the in the real world, that fucking would have happened. And so
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Yeah.
getting away from like the analytic part of it can be difficult at times, because I think a lot of people do become very consumed by it. But like just being like, hey, this guy and I have a lot in common. Like maybe we don't see eye to eye perfectly on every product, but like if we did, that'd be fucking boring. So like I don't know, dude. Like I don't know. It's just I feel like there is a little bit of competition in YouTube and in specific niches in general. Like it's just kind of interesting.
I think that that exists. I agree with you there. And to kind of like tunnel vision on it even a little more, I definitely think that competition feeling, whether it's valid or not, can boil down to like sub count too. Like
Mm-hmm.
this has nothing to do with like you and Aiden of Dark Corner or whatever. I think you guys get along swimmingly, but you're both at like, the 20s,
Yeah.
like 20K range. So I could see that, because the most I've ever felt that little bit of competitive, nature with people I've tried to interact with, they were like, we were on the same level subwise. And I feel
Yeah, I
like
guess
where
that
I'm,
makes sense.
you
Yeah.
know, batting for, old JC, Jesus Christ, with that seven, that lucky number 7 number. Feel like batting in the sevens, like I'm not intimidating the Aidens of the world. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
get what,
they're not worried about obscure mics. He's,
I
that
get what
guy,
you mean.
that guy
Yeah.
fucking pulls 400 to 500 views of video. We're not worried about him. And that's kind of, that's kind of the way I want it to be. I don't want it to be, there's just no competition. Now, I will say, if somebody came out with a channel, called, Oddball Mics or something like that, I'd be like, you motherfucker. Like,
Especially at this point, like,
yeah.
no, I feel that.
But at the same time, I wouldn't really be like that, because my channel was literally inspired by the gaps in Bandrew's videos, because he doesn't really, he does good stuff. He does good mics, and sometimes he'll throw in a shitty one just for fun, but I do nothing but shitty ones. So it's like, but his blueprint was definitely copied by me. I'm like, I'm not going to step on his toes and do Telefunkins, but I am absolutely going to find mics that are discontinued and stuff, because he doesn't really mess with discontinued. He doesn't like to. So it's like, I can jump in and be that gap filler, and that's what I'm into anyway. So that it works out on that front.
Dude, you fucking love filling gaps, bro.
Man, I'm supposed to do just that when we're done, but it's I don't know. I like the oddball stuff. So I think the competition is more there with like Hank from Free Podcast Tools. I feel that with Hank a little bit. Like, me and Hank get along swimmingly.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think there's a little bit of that competitive nature between the two of us, because neither one of us have hit double digits as far as the thousands goes on subscriber count. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I just I think you and I do a pretty good job of trying to break through that invisible barrier that exists or does not exist. I guess you'd never know until you ask, but we definitely try. We tried with that one goofball, there's one goofball that just will not, give anybody the time of day, because he's just way too good for us. But I try to break through with all of them, Mike Newman, of Level Up with Mike. I love that guy. And again, completely different folks. He's got faith on his wall, and like, Colossian, fuck, I don't know. Colossian, I can't pronounce it, but some book from the Bible, chapter this, chapter that. And I'm like, man, I'm the Antichrist. So, but we still get along and it works out. So you gotta.
No, I get you. Well, and like, kind of back to what you were saying, like, I don't know, man. Like, I think the competition thing, like, maybe some people need that. And like, maybe that's like the drive, like, and that's like that's what keeps them going and like makes them want to be better. Like, maybe that's the thing. And I don't know, dude. Like, I think that, like, I just became a little bit. I definitely have became caught up in it at times, but I think overall, generally speaking, I like every time I get a little bit caught up in it, I think back to like me playing shows with like what you were saying, like a similar like MySpace follow count, like fucking whatever, like on Reverb, we had like the same amount of listens or whatever. Like, we'd get caught up in that for sure. Right. And so like, it makes sense, but like every time I start getting a little bit caught up in it, I'm like I need to take a step back. Like, it's just dumb. Like,
it is, but let me add real quick. The music thing, I don't think that's dumb. I think any band can be supportive and want them to go out and have a great show. But if I was in a band, I would always want my band to do better, regardless of how good. I mean, that's how opening acts get noticed. Yeah. When the opening act is like, holy shit, they were better than that's true. That, and that happens. And I would absolutely hope for that. If I was in a band opening for another band or on the same bill, I'd be like, man, we've really got to bring it, because we want to be the best act here. Yeah. YouTube's different. There's really no measure on being the best act, in my opinion, because it's less about skill with what we do and more about personality and presentation, and
Yes. Well, see, and like with Aiden and I, like I could see how, like someone who follows me would follow him and vice versa. You know, like I can
Yep.
see that, you know, and so and that's like the thing though, is like with bands, I'm like, you guys, like everyone has their own sound. And someone that likes that sound is going to like you if you play well. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
not everyone's going out there and playing the same songs every night and like hoping that they play them better that night. And so that's the way that I look
Wouldn't
at
it
it.
be
I'm like, you
cool if
know,
that did happen though? Like a
that'd be
covers competition,
fucking
like
actually, dude,
Lollapalooza covers competition.
we should make that, dude. We
Yeah.
should make a
Yeah. Like
YouTube
everybody playing
live,
Africa by Toto.
dude.
Everybody.
And you can like get as creative as you want with it, but like you have to
Yeah.
fucking play Toto. Can't change the goddamn words. I fucking hate that.
No.
Hate it when
No.
people do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
Don't
dude,
like it
no.
either.
No.
Like
So-
who can do Don't Stop Believing the best? Who
Dude,
can do
oh,
it?
Journey.
Well, yeah. I mean, and they're a cover band now because it's a different singer. So
Exactly.
they're covering their own shit.
He's a badass though. He's good.
Oh
He's
yeah.
good, though.
Oh, absolutely. Or else, and that's something too. It's cool when we've probably already talked about this before, but I always find it cool when somebody can come into a band and like keep it going. Like
definitely.
shit, what's that? The AC/DC guy. I mean, his name's escaping me at the moment.
It's like,
But you know, the guy that plays
Brian?
Bon Scott. Brian Johnson.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. Like fucking great, you know?
Great.
I like Bon Scott a little better, but they're like
They're
side by side.
fucking, yeah, they're close. Yeah.
Yeah, they both have massive hits that everybody knows, and I find that cool. And the Alice in Chains guy, like he fits in with that band voice wise.
Yeah.
I don't listen to him like I listen to the old version, but sometimes it works.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, and like, I mean, I get, and that's the funny thing. Like the one that I think of where they were slightly different, but everyone kind of likes them at their own eras differently is Van Halen, dude. Like that's interesting. Like just throwing it out there. Very interesting.
That is a great example. I hate David Lee Roth with a passion.
Oh, okay, you're a Sammy Hagar guy. Okay.
I don't like Sammy Hagar.
Okay.
Either.
You just don't like Van Halen.
Like Van Halen. I don't like him. So yeah, but that's a great example because if I had to pick one, I'd go with Sammy Hagar, but I would not enjoy it. You know, it's I'll go with the guy from Extreme. I think the guy from Extreme sang with Van Halen for a minute.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah.
Now I have to find out. Van Halen lead singers. I'm pretty sure the guy from Gary Cherone. Yes, he was in Van Halen.
Okay.
And yeah, he definitely he would be my pick.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm addicted to a new YouTube channel, and I want to know if there's anything you've been turned on to.
Oh yeah.
But I turned on. I absolutely fucking love. I usually don't get into celebrities. I got the hiccups. But Justin Hawkins Rides Again, which is the lead singer from that band The Darkness. I believe in a thing called love.
Dude, yeah. Yeah.
That guy.
I saw them live in
his YouTube channel is great.
Really? Okay.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. He just reacts to like mostly music and some other stuff. But like he's just such a joy to listen to.
I randomly saw them live in Orlando, Florida when I was visiting there. Like I found out they were playing and I was like, dude, The Darkness is kind of sick. You know, I was like, I'm fine with it, you know? And that night we kind of had like a free night and stuff to like just go do whatever. And I was like, I'm going to go fucking see The Darkness. Just randomly.
Dude,
it was great.
It was a show.
It was a way fun show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what's his name again?
Justin Hawkins. And the channel's Justin Hawkins Rides Again. And it's just very endearing. He's just one of those people that like, you know, he's endearing to me. Like I just enjoy him as a human being, and he's very interesting to listen to, and he's very knowledgeable. Like he's one of those guys like Rick Beato, who will just listen to something and pick up the guitar and be like, what is that? A C and a this and a that. And he's like, and he's like, oh, he just played what he heard because he's that talented. And not just that, like he's just very, very talented, very entertaining.
Oh,
very
that's
comical.
cool though. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Does he have a? Let's see. Hopefully, he doesn't.
He's got the channel, and then he's got a long form podcast, which is also titled Justin Hawkins Rides Again.
Oh yeah, he has a lot of. He has like 500,000 subs or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's working. I mean, he's putting in the work. He puts out like a video a day.
Yeah, he does.
Video every
Jeez, dude.
Yeah, he pumps them out, man. And he gives back like the have you ever watched the Charismatic Voice, which is one of the reaction channels?
Yeah.
She's so adorable.
She is.
But he reacted to her reacting to him. Like she watched the Darkness video, the first one, I don't believe anything I love. And he watched that and reacted to it. And then they end up doing a full 2-hour podcast together. And it's like, for him to
That's
just
cool.
see, find people that are big YouTubers and be like, I'm Justin Hawkins. Let's do a podcast together.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, very cool. Very nice.
No, that's sweet. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. As far as
the what you've been watching and listening to segment of Obscure Hotline, Bronson, what have you been listening to or watching? I got to listen too for when we'll go on to there. But what you been watching, brother?
So watching, on YouTube, dude,
or anything. You don't have to be. It just came to mind for me because when I can get my wife watching things with me that she normally wouldn't watch, which I've got her totally into Justin Hawkins Rides Again.
Yeah,
it's something that sticks in my mind a little bit.
So this actually might hit kind of like close to home for you. There's one podcast, and I haven't I guess it's been like 2 weeks that I've like listened to it. So it's definitely not like religious at all, but just randomly listening to like what happened in like the NFL, like football games and shit.
I like that.
So it's a Pardon My Take or whatever. I listened to them.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks, and they're entertaining. They're, I think that they like kind of play on like old jokes that I'm like, I don't really know what the fuck is happening, but like, yeah. And so like, they're funny though. Like they're funny. Like, yeah. And so like, it's definitely better in my mind than listening to like Sports Center,
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd so much rather listen to like independent. Yeah. I fucking hate listening to Stephen A. Smith. I want to stab all he does is yell, and I don't give a damn if the Browns are. He just yells.
Yep.
And like all of those personalities, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, who's a piece of shit.
Fuck
Skip Bayless, attacking him as a human. He's terrible at what he does on sports.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't stand any of that. So I love watching, independent people. I get on these kicks all the time. Like sometimes I'll just want to watch like Mike Tyson's knockouts or his losses or, so, I'll just get on a kick and I'll end up watching boxing videos or maybe a little UFC, or maybe I'll watch like, how gummy bears are made, or you just get on those kicks.
Yeah.
Which I discovered the other day. There's a channel that I've watched many times called Boxing Ego, and they're like 313 subs. And I was like, I watched a video the other day, and then I went to my channel, my YouTube studio, and that fucking channel subscribed to me. I was like,
that's sick.
It maybe has always been, I don't know how long it's been subscribed to me, but I was like, I just got done watching that, and somebody there has watched Obscure Mics and thought,
that's awesome.
This motherfucker's stupid. I'm subscribing just to see what he says next that'll get him in trouble.
That's awesome though. Right now, I've kind of been like, it's not even like a big thing that I do a lot of the time. Like you and I have talked about sports a little bit. And so like right now it's kind of like the heyday of like the NBA starting, and I'm a Utah Jazz fan, and like the NFL's like kind of going through like mid-season, or like even a little bit further than mid-season. And so it's like kind of an interesting time. But like this time of year though, it's really interesting though. Like I feel like it really helps me kind of get through, like, I don't know. It feels like it's always this time of year that I get a little bit burnt out. And I kind of talked to you about it, previously, where I'm like, I'll feel like a little bit burnt out, especially around this time, because I think that like especially around like October, like Techtober, people release stuff and you get like, yeah, and it's just, I don't know. It's just like a thing. And so I feel like I always focus on sports like more than usual at this time of year. And so I've been occasionally listening to that, but there's this one dude, he's a little over the top, but he's like a basketball YouTube channel and he always like covers stories and shit. AM Hoops or whatever. He's fun. He's a fun guy. And so I'd say those are the ones that like, but it's kind of just me like taking a break from what I usually would listen to and like consume to like, I don't know, rejuvenate myself a little bit. And I feel like, as weird as it sounds, like I feel like I'm more of a casual sports guy where most people are like very fucking die hard, but I kind of use it as like
I'm casual too.
Yeah, like I kind of use it. I'm going to like rejuvenate myself and here's something I can put a little attention into where I, take my mind off of stuff that I'm super used to so I don't get like overwhelmed, sick of it or burnt out by it.
Right. I've watched AM Hoops. I just pulled it up to see who it was because I'm always curious. And yeah, I've watched some videos because I get on that kick too. I'm like, I want to see. God, one day I spent like a fucking hour and a half watching the top plays from last season or something.
Okay.
I just staring off in it because it's it's just fun.
Dude, the NBA is fun in my opinion. Like it's just like it's fast paced.
I agree.
It's just
it's like there's these levels,
mm-hmm.
but it's like college and pro football are easier to get into for me because there's only 12 and 17 games or something around that.
Yeah.
Basketball is a little harder. Like when the Cavs lose, I'm just like, that sucks because there's 82 games. Baseball, when my team loses, like, who fucking cares? We got 161 more to go.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
yeah,
and it's kind of hard to get into sports that have so many games.
Yeah. See, I totally agree with that. And like the way that I weigh losses, and I think it purely comes down to the fact that like I've grown up in an area where like the Utah Jazz is like predominantly the sports team around. Like we don't have like, aside from like Denver, like the Broncos, which I fucking hate the Broncos.
Me too.
Let's
ride.
I fucking hate them.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Dude,
Bronco.
So I don't know. Like I found myself, I really gravitated towards the Utah Jazz. So in a way, like I like get more upset about a loss from the Utah Jazz than I do from a loss in the NFL of a team that I like, which is weird. But like, because like you said, there's so many games, but I think I'm just that much more invested in the NBA.
Yeah.
But
I've
yeah,
had to kind of train myself to not care.
It's always nice,
Yeah, because used to when the Dolphins would lose, my day was fucked, just ruined. But now when they lose, I'm like, of course they did. It's Miami.
Yeah,
who cares,
dude? But the Dolphins are fun this year. Like they're fun. Like they might not be like the best team, but they're fun.
Yeah, they're very fun, and I'm eager to see who they are. Like, are they for real? Because they haven't beat really anybody yet.
The
3 games they've lost were against like the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Eagles.
Yep.
So they haven't beat anybody. They've lost to the best teams in the league, but they've hung with them.
Yeah.
It's just difficult. Like the NFL's weird too. Like, the Eagles lost to the Commanders or something. The Eagles are clearly one of the better teams, but in the NFL on any given day, anyone can have your number.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Which makes it interesting. Like if every team that was good beat every team they should, it would be very fucking boring a lot of the time. Yeah.
The most infuriating thing though is to like watch my Dolphins, who are fun to watch and have a high powered offense, typically, not every game, and to know that they have the same record as the Pittsburgh fucking Steelers, who just look terrible every time they're on the field.
Okay.
I don't know how that team keeps pulling out wins, but I guess that's sports for you.
If
the Cavs don't start doing anything, I'm never watching basketball again because so far they're doing nothing.
Yeah, but first of all, can you fucking watch your language? I love the Steelers.
No, you don't.
No, I like the Steelers. Yeah.
Can't. Gross. That's what every football fan says about everybody else's team. If you said the Cowboys, but gross.
Ew, dude, no. Fuck the Cowboys, though. Fuck the Cowboys. So, no, but I agree with you, though. The Steelers should not have as good of a record as they do. So,
no.
The way that I grew up liking the Niners, that was like, because they were close and everything, like relatively close. So I went to like camps and everything. So they're kind of like my number one team. Steelers are my number two, but I wouldn't even they're close though, but so yeah, like those are the two teams, but like relatively speaking, I'd say like I'm a Niners fan, but just because of proximity.
And they're another one. Like some weeks they look like they're the best team in the league, and then they get beat 3 or 4 times in a row, and it makes no sense because their team is so good.
It's fucking weird, dude. Yep.
It is weird. It's very, very strange. But yeah, I am very happy that the longer I'm on this earth, the farther away from sports I get. Because man, to be upset about something that's not in your control at all.
For sure.
Like I'm sorry I'm going to offend somebody here, but I almost feel like being a diehard, hardcore sports fan is implicative of you having deficiencies in your life.
See, I can't disagree with that. And like I was literally just saying and like explaining, like I use it like as a distraction. Like it's not my life. You know what I mean? Like
to be and to be clear, we all have deficiencies in our life of some kind.
Yeah.
I mean, but the really hardcore ones, you know what I mean? Who live, breathe, eat, would like skip out on their anniversary because the game is on. You know what I mean? Like the really hardcore ones who are like, their wife is like, I'm naked in bed and I'm waiting for you. And you're like, Cowboys are on, sorry,
Oh,
or
dude, yeah.
Our child wants to go out and pass football with you. Nope, can't do it. Watching the Eagles.
Yeah.
Michael Bauer, I'm not doing it. No.
Dude, okay, collectively, I was thinking about it. So Bauer was actually, we were texting the other day, like I just like randomly when the Eagles are on, I'll like send him some random fucking dumb text about some shit. I don't even know. But like he told me, he's like, I'm like, oh, so like, are you wearing your like Jalen Hurts jersey? Some shit like that. I can't remember how it went, but he's like, I don't buy like jerseys. Every time that I buy a jersey, the person gets injured or traded, which actually is interesting because I have the same superstition about the Utah Jazz. Every single time, every fucking time I buy a shirt, jersey, whatever, with a name on it, within a fucking year, they're gone. They're fucking gone. So collectively, we as the obscure hotline should send him a Jalen Hurts jersey.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Just even a shirt.
And it took him a long time to come around to Jalen Hurts.
Oh, because did it really? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he came around to him. I don't know if he's fully came around to him anyways. Cause I mean, I was harassing him last season. Because when we had a fantasy football podcast, like, that was kind of, I think it was, what year did Jalen Hurts come into the league? I want to say,
like, was it?
I want to say we were
19?
still talking about him. I think the podcast was still going. Yeah, 2020.
Oh wow.
Okay. So he was. Yeah. So he's. Yeah. I knew it wasn't that long, but we were still doing a podcast, and I was all in on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Like everybody in the fantasy community was like, yeah, you're going to get rushing yards and this and that, but he can't pass. Like, yes, he can. Watch the fucking tape at Oklahoma. Yes, he can.
I drafted.
It doesn't mean he
fucking first thing in fantasy. Yep.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not saying he's going to be the most accurate. He's not Joe Montana, but like the things you forget about football is like there's a such thing as progression and growth.
Yeah.
Like somebody who comes into the league raw, like Josh Allen, who's not really having the greatest of years right now, but things happen. You progress, you get better. These rookies come out of nowhere, like Puka Nakua of the Rams, and I can't think of any more of Keaton Mitchell, who's running back for the Ravens and undrafted. There's things happen. Like you learn a lot in a year. You learn a lot in an off season. But I used to try to get him to say he liked Jalen Hurts, and he just would not. I like when they went to Super Bowl, I was like, are you finally on board with Jalen Hurts? He's like, well, we didn't win a Super Bowl. And I'm like, oh my God.
Dude.
Neither did 31 other teams, man.
Yeah, like come on, dog. No, I was a big Jalen guy from day one. Cause like I do play fantasy football, and I would say once again, I'm not as diehard about it as a lot of people, but dude, I was all in on Jalen Hurts. Drafted it, yeah,
Me too.
dude. Like I was big on him, but
way more so than I was on Tua. Like and I'm pretty sure they came out. I want to say they came out the same year, but I was not in on Tua at all.
Or was it?
I was kind of excited, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know.
Were they from the same college? Did Tua come in a year later and they went to the same college or some shit like that? I can't remember. I could be wrong.
Tua replaced Jalen Hurts in the championship game for Alabama.
Maybe what I'm thinking of. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tua, they won. Alabama won that championship. Tua pretty much put the stranglehold on that job. Jalen Hurts went to Oklahoma so he could start.
Got it. So same year. Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. But dude, so I don't know if you want to take a fucking left turn with this podcast or not.
I do. I don't want to talk about sports the whole time because I honestly barely care.
So,
but it was fun to talk about it for 10 minutes.
It's a nice little, 10 minutes or whatever, But, okay. Something that you said to me earlier, kind of
shit.
I was like, shit, man, like maybe we should talk about this. But you were talking about, like the mic guy. Wait, on the mic or something like that. I can't remember what channel you were talking about, but he has like faith on his wall and stuff.
Oh yeah. Level up with Mike Newman.
Level up with Mike. Yeah, and so maybe we talk about religion.
Okay.
Like
which we've done a little, but where are you wanting to? I'm my interest is peaked. Let's go.
So okay, this is what I'm thinking because Satan. Like we were talking about that, then we were talking about Bauer, and I'm like, we got a little bit of time left.
Yeah.
So Bauer always talks about how he wants me to talk about when I was Mormon. And I want to know your religious experience too. So I'm kind of like, what if we just shoot that shit out? Like we're probably going to.
We haven't done that though.
I'm positive. We've talked a little bit about like our faith background, but we haven't talked about like religious experience in the sense of like gone to church and everything and like kind of our journey through it. We could talk about that if you want to, or we can.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Fucking whatever. So you can start if you want to.
Well, first off, I want to apologize to Mike Newman because I know I'm pretty sure he watches this, and I am very appreciative of Mike Newman, and I do believe that he is one of the guys that I consider to be a solid human being Christian, and I'm gonna say it, in my area, and you can't extrapolate this to everyone. It's just about your personal experience in your area. Most Christians I know are terrible people.
Same.
Just that's just what it is. There's a lot of people, in my opinion, that take religion as their excuse to hate, non-religious people. It's a holier than thou club where I'm from. It's where all the rich people in my hometown, they go to the same church, which is the rich people church, which it's not even the fanciest church in town. It's just the one where I swear they've all gotten together and been like, we're going to go to this church. It's right by the police station. The cops are going to be like, oh yeah, he's a good person. He goes to church every Sunday. Yeah. It's right in the middle of town. Everyone's going to see us walking in and out of church, and we're automatically ticketed as good people.
Yes.
That's what organized religion is to me. It's like a fashion show for hypocrites, to go show that they're good people. It's bullshit. Yes. But Mike, I apologize because I cuss a lot on this podcast, and but to me, curse words are just slang. The only
Yeah.
word I don't throw around a whole lot is GD, because I do actually find that to be a curse word, but I do still say it sometimes because, he forgives me. Anyways, but no, I think that Mike Newman is a really cool guy. Some very religious people, like, if they saw my channel and heard some of what I say, and it's not even like anti-religious stuff, it's just me being me, they'd be like, can't talk to him, devil's got a hold of him.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
way.
that kind of stuff. So
So, yeah, I'll
yeah,
disclaim this. Yeah, like, I'll disclaim, like, if you are a religious person and you, like, feel like you have a relationship with whatever higher power you believe in, like, I'm ecstatic for you. Like, I really
yeah,
am. And that's not
I'm
me
one of
being
those.
condescending. Like, that is me being, like, genuinely like, yo, that is fucking awesome. I I wish that I had that same feeling. I wish that like, and this is purely me based off of my experiences and like in my journey and everything. Like, it's not about you. It's not about your church in particular, like, it's just, this is what I've experienced, you know. But and that's all we fucking have. Like, that's all we have
Yeah.
is like,
Well, and that's where the judgment shouldn't come into play, man. It's like, so what I gather from you a little bit is, like, you don't have much of a feeling there. You don't have much
mm-mm.
of a conviction or a spark or anything like that tells you that you're connected to a higher power or
So
anything like that. That's what I'm gathering anyways.
so yeah, like, I think a big part of my, like, religiously speaking and spiritually speaking, like, I think a big part of my feeling towards a higher power was like diminished by the feeling that I had for earthly things. And that might sound weird and people might be like, yo, like, that's what the devil wants. That's what the DEVIL wants. But no, like, no, it's like, it was a matter of like, hey, like, when I'm in church, a Mormon LDS church, mind you, at 6 years old, and I'm like, and they're like, hey, like, like, I could really feel the Holy Spirit when that talk was given and stuff, and like, wow, I really feel the Spirit here and stuff, like, um I had that mimicking feeling of what they were saying later on, and everything, and like, I definitely had a feeling, but I was like, hey, like, when Taking Back Sunday hits a chorus on fucking Make Damn Sure, I
Yeah.
feel the same thing. Like, what's
Yeah.
that? Like, I don't think that, like, the Holy Spirit is being like, hey man, fucking Taking Back Sunday's the shit. Like, I don't think that's a thing, like, I'm like, hey, like, like, when like, all these, like, used hits a chorus and fucking whatever, or whatever thing happens, and you feel those same euphoric feelings, I'm like, hey, like, this isn't like a Holy Spirit. This is like a euphoric feeling that can be very scientifically grounded to endorphins and like, and I'm like, hey, like, this isn't what I've been told. This is like normal. Like, this is just a normal thing when you like something and you hear something you like, or you are told to feel something, like, sometimes it just happens, and so I don't feel a connection. I've never once, and so, dude, like, I've tried. I mean, like, I didn't only give the LDS church a chance. I've gone to like every normal religion to a certain degree that's in the United States, whether it's Christian, Catholic, non-denominational Christian, the ones that speak in tongues, you know, and even like reading books from people, the books that people don't like very much in the United States. Reading stuff like that, like I've tried, I've researched it, I've done everything I could because I felt so much guilt about leaving a religion that I was like desperately trying to find a reason or like a logic for what I thought I felt or whatever it was. Like I desperately tried to find it in anything I could, and I gave everything a chance and just didn't find it, you know?
That was like that encapsulates just a lot of my thinking because
Yeah.
I feel the exact same way pretty much about all of it, but one, that euphoric feeling at that Taking Back Sunday concert.
Yeah.
Most people I know, again, I'm just talking about my experience. And I'm not accusing everyone of being this way. No way, no shape, form, nothing like that. But
Yeah.
most of the people I grew up in church with, they'd never been to a concert. They'd never found anything to latch on to that could give them chill bumps.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
it's
Or give
big.
them that
Yeah.
euphoric feeling. So when you feel that in an organized religion, of course you think that's a religious experience.
Absolutely.
That's why my wife called Tyler Childers, like going to his concert. She's like, I had a religious experience because her euphoria went so crazy,
There you go.
like
Yep.
at certain times because she loves his music. Like there was, yeah, I just think, well, real quick before I forget the thought, when my grandfather died, he was super, super religious. He was the only reason I ever went to church or any of our family. Like it trickled down from him.
Yeah.
And the person doing his eulogy, I think it was like a pastor that was in the family. He literally said, you know, most of you watch your favorite team on Sunday and you root for your favorite team on Sunday and you just, you know, you're just all about the team. And he's like, my grandfather's name was Charles. He's like, Jesus was Charles's Green Bay Packers. He's
Oh,
like, that
wow.
was his team. That was
Damn.
his. And it makes perfect sense to me because
Yeah.
like if that's what you're into, the scripture, listening to preachers, you know, cool. But for me, a preacher standing up there delivering the word of God, he is also a good one anyways, performing just like a team, a band, a singer. He's
Yep.
performing.
Yep.
He's getting you on his team. He's pulling you into the seats. You don't want to leave. You got to watch till the end. And I'm not saying that's a terrible thing. I just think that for me, organized religion is a massive waste of my time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think for me, I'm not going to get a euphoric feeling sitting around listening to everyone else's opinions that they've gathered from reading books and watching Christian stuff on Hallmark with Kirk Cameron. And that's just not for me. Like the reason I
Yeah.
have faith is for different reasons and it's personal experiences. And I don't, and when I say I have faith, like it's loose, man. Like I have faith and I'm pretty convicted in my belief that there is a God and that, you know, everything happens, you know, not necessarily for a reason, because I think we have free will, but
Yeah.
there's just, I have my reasons, but I could give a shit less if anyone else believes or not. I
Yeah.
am not about that. That's what drives me nuts about organized religion is going and trying to convert people who may have their own way.
Yeah.
Like my way is completely unconventional in my area because I refuse to set foot in a church unless my wife says we have to do this because our family friend needs us and we're okay, fine. But I don't go for me. I will never go for me because I don't believe in organized religion. There's too many things I disagree with. Like I
Yeah.
disagree with the majority of the Bible. I just do. And I feel like if whatever your religion is, even if it's not religious, if you're an atheist, that doesn't knock you down a peg in my book at all. Because to me, you could equate God all the way down to just kindness. Like if you're kind, like I don't care if you believe in God or believe there's a rule book or believe that you have to live a certain way, talk about God, do this, do that. Like you tell me if you are a decent, solid human being and you do everything you can not to hurt anyone's feelings, hurt anyone physically, put anyone down. You do your best. You try that every single day. Now, in the instance that when we die, there is a God. Do you really think he's going to send your ass to hell after being the best person you could possibly be on this planet just because you didn't go to a building and praise him? Like I it just doesn't equate to me. It doesn't make sense to me. It's the same as being a fan of Donald Trump or Joe Biden. I refuse to just be a fan of a man.
Yeah. No,
Like,
for sure. Yeah.
I don't think you need to be a fan of God or a cheerleader of God to have, to like end up having a good afterlife if there is one. Like, you're either a decent human being or you're not. And I don't think any of that has anything to do with whether you believe in a higher power or not.
Yeah. No, and like in what you're saying, like I'm definitely on the same page with you. And that's like, and that's a big part of it also for me is I'm like, a lot of what you're saying though does dwindle back. Like you're going to a building, you're going to a place where a human, a man, or whatever is running it. Like they are the ones that are in charge and they're the ones that are running your communication with a higher power or God. And I don't think there is any person on this planet that is worthy of communicating directly with God if I'm not, if someone else
Agree
isn't. You know what I mean?
agree
Like
100%.
I don't think that
And for anyone to pretend that they've got that superpower over you, I think is absolute bullshit.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And so, and
For
this,
me.
well, and yeah, same. And so this brings me back to like what you're saying, like really, my first discord with like religion was really about that, and it was so like I went to the LDS church from 0 to 18 without a fucking thought in mind. Like sure, I had, I'd made I've done a couple sins. Like what, and like who hadn't, between, whether it's like 12 to 18 or whatever, like, the fucking, you're a kid, you're being dumb, you do dumb shit, like, and so, like 18, 19 comes around and there was like this one girl that I had become like slightly intimate with. We
Like you held her hand and stuff.
Yeah, like we high-fived. And
Hot.
well actually hold up. No, it would have been like we were 17. We were 17 at the time. And we had like done some things. We had done some stuff and some things, and it wasn't like,
Sinner.
Well, yeah. But see, and that's the thing, like I was so, what I'm going to call right now, brainwashed by the LDS church, that like I did not, to just put too much information out there, I did not lose my virginity until like after 18 because I chose not to, because like I believed in that shit and I like lived it. And so like
it's easy to do when you're young.
Yeah. And so like, like for the lack of like, I can't say it wasn't for the lack of trying, but like it wasn't for the lack of temptation. Like there was definitely temptation there and everything. And I was like very strong in like, like that feeling that I was like, this is real, and I like believe in it and everything, because like that's what I had been told, that's what I'd been shown. And so, around this time, we had done like a couple things that were like out of bounds for the LDS church, this girl and I.
Soaking.
And we're terrible. We're terrible. And so we both had felt like so bad about it. We both had felt like really guilty about it. So we're like, like we should tell our bishop. We should tell our bishop that like what happened and everything. And so one of the things in the LDS church, I don't know if you know this, but like at the sacrament meeting, obviously like guys are the only ones that are allowed to like do the sacrament and like bless the sacrament and everything. It's just like women are obviously secondhand citizens, like just generally speaking,
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
in most religions they are.
but in the LDS church, like they don't like when it comes to blessings, when it comes to sacrament, when it comes to literally fucking anything that matters aside from making babies, guys are the only ones that have any privilege whatsoever in the Mormon church, like period. And so at that point, like I would bless the sacrament. I'd go up and get on the mic and be like, fucking whatever, bless the bread and the water. We didn't do wine because we're pussies. And so, well, actually, pussies are fucking strong as shit. So we were weak as fuck. I don't know. But yeah, pussies are super strong, like stronger than me. So whatever. But, so we got to do the sacrament. We got to bless the sacrament and everything. But I go in and I admit to the bishop, like, hey, we had done some like over the pants stuff or whatever it fucking was, dude, whatever it fucking was. And I'm not meaning to turn everyone on right now. But dude, no, like so the bishop turns to me, he's like, hey, like this is a simple transgression, like no big deal. No big deal. And so after the girl goes in and talks to him, she, comes out and she's like crying and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, and yeah, and she's like, she turns to me and she's like, hey, like I'm not allowed to take the sacrament to like renew my covenants with Jesus for 6 months. Me, as a male, I'm allowed to go fucking bless the sacrament the next weekend. Like that right there just shows like, and that's when I was like, fuck, like this isn't right. Like this is wrong. Like this is not
clearly,
like this is just not fair. And not to mention, like, if I was going to say like someone was more secure in their faith, it was her, like it was definitely her. And like, she deserved to be like the one that was more forgiven. But I'm like, this is a fucking guy in a little office being like, hey, you can't renew your relationship with God because I say so.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, fuck you. Like, fuck you. Like, and so that like started to sow
that's the power and control of religion.
And so like that started it, and I was like, yeah, and then, I lasted a few years longer than that because like just the guilt was there of like not going and everything, but that's like the thing that really did it for me. And then like I had some other experiences that were very similar to that, of like a very sexist nature and everything. And I was done with the LDS religion and everything. But so for me, like that's kind of what drew me away from it, is just like the unfairness, because I don't feel like anyone on this planet is lesser than me. Period.
Yeah.
Like I don't fucking care what you believe, what you think, or whatever. Like you don't deserve less than I do.
Yeah.
At all.
And that is so much of my problem with it all. It's just the holier than thou stuff.
Yeah.
And it's And something else I hate too is like someone may hear this podcast, they may watch this, and I'm not saying it'd be Mike Newman. I don't think he would, but I think, uh, a lot of other people would try to pull me aside and be like, I listened to what you said, and I just don't think you understand. Like this is, this is the way, and this is the path, and this is how you do
Yeah.
this, and it's like, and what qualifies you to try to like guide my life because you've read a book that your your fellow fans at church has told you is the absolute guide to
Yeah.
living your life
Yeah.
right. And it's like, and I've just, and mine, a lot of my experiences are similar to yours, not the one you just said in particular, but like seeing instances of people who were supposedly much more convicted Christians than me doing things I would never dream of doing
Yeah.
that are just wrong,
Yeah.
like the pastor of the church I grew up in, which was Apostolic, which was the speaking in tongues, running around the church, all that.
Yeah.
And let me clarify, if you're into that, if that's what you like and that's what makes you happy and that's what, by all means. And if a preacher gives you those chills and you like listening to, I'm not saying it's wrong. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
Like, what happened with you, that obviously I think that's wrong to condemn the girl and tell the guy like, you got a penis. You're
Yeah.
good. You're good. Just a
You're
little
solid,
transgression,
bro.
go rub one out and go about your day. I'm not saying that, but like, if that's what makes you happy is being a part of that organized religion and just throwing your heart into it, throwing everything into it, you go right ahead. Like, again, I'm not going to judge an atheist. I'm also not going to, overly judge somebody who's going to church for the right reasons. Cause there are reasons that are right to go to church.
Yeah.
I just see more people that are going there for the wrong reasons, which is
Absolutely.
recognition
Yeah.
of being a Christian and recognition of being a good person
Yeah.
and all that jazz. But the church I went to,
Mhm.
like, again, my grandfather, who was the most hardcore Christian I ever knew, and just he was a solid person. I'm not saying he wasn't. But he bought into this just wholly and fully. And the problem I have too is like, and I run into this at my job a lot, like people that are coming in to get a loan, like I hear the words like, oh, he's a good dude. He goes to church and this and that. And I hear that so much. Always, he's a
I
good man. He
don't
goes
doubt
to
it.
church. He's
Yeah.
a good man. And I get so sick of that because the whole congregation of the church I went to, who looked at the preacher as a good man, they just loved him, just like they loved everyone else that went there, because all you have to do is be a part of the club.
Absolutely.
But the preacher that I grew up going to church with was having sex with the 16-year-old daughter of his right-hand man that set up on the pulpit with him, and he got her pregnant. I mean, come on, dude. Like, you're going to tell me that this man up here is a better man than I because of the words that he's saying to a
Mhm.
congregation of people, but he's in his late 30s, early 40s and banging the 16-year-old
Yeah.
daughter of someone who trusts him fully.
Well, and
And
see,
this is just
yeah.
small town Ohio. This isn't even a national story. So
Yeah.
if it happens here,
Well, that was an abrupt ending to the episode, but I just wanted to come on here and say thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and thanks for letting us be inside you.